What to do, YouTube? It is that time of week again. First, before we even get into the preview part, y'all know I dropped the video yesterday about Ryan Tannehill not being able to be ready to go for this Sunday's game against the Detroit Lions. Now, I looked at all those comments and I was not happy with some of them. Some of them was y'all was talking crazy. Y'all was talking crazy. Y'all literally was like, I don't think Ryan Tannehill could have made the plays that Brock Osweiler was making. Ryan Tannehill holds on to the ball too long. If Brock Osweiler does well, I think it's over for Ryan Tannehill. Look, I've been doing this thing for how many years have I been doing this? For 6 years, we're seeing the same comments. We don't want to see Ryan Tannehill anymore. We want a different quarterback. I heard Matt Moore chants. I heard David Fales chants. Yeah, David Fales chants. I don't know why the fuck we're listening to that shit, but I'm gonna let that person stay unknown, whoever said that. But I'm about to give it to you right now. I'm literally about to give it to you. Look, Ryan Tannehill has been in multiple offenses with different offensive coordinators. I believe it's like 4 different offensive coordinators he sat back and had to deal with. And then Ryan Tannehill has put up some decent numbers. Now, Brock Osweiler, my man sat back and held the clipboard for 3 years behind Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And still, y'all want to sit back. Y'all want to put him in the same category as Ryan Tannehill. When Brock Osweiler ended up leaving Denver the first time, went to Houston, ended up getting a $90 million contract, and couldn't get DeAndre Hopkins, in my opinion, the best receiver in the NFL right now. Yes, he is the best receiver of all time in the NFL right now. But considering the fact that he's playing with some shitty ass quarterbacks, except for Deshaun Watson, and still been able to put up over 1,000 yards receiving. But then when Brock Osweiler ass get there, he can't get over 800. Tell me, to answer that question for me, you Brock Osweiler lovers. Answer that question for me. Now he goes back to Denver. No, he goes to Cleveland. He goes to Cleveland, gets outplayed by Deshaun Kaiser, then ends up going back to Denver, still plays like some shit, and now he right here in Miami. And now because of one game against the Chicago Bears, we're screaming for him to take over for Ryan Tannehill. Get that shit out of here. That's crazy. That is legitimately crazy. Let me tell you something. Literally, on game day, that's when they got that's when Brock Osweiler got the nod to sit back and actually play in that game. Like the Chicago Bears didn't even have a chance to game plan for Brock Osweiler. Now we're going up against Detroit. Look, in my heart of hearts, I want us to win the game against Detroit. But Detroit is going to actually have a game plan for Brock Osweiler. They will. I can guarantee you that. Now, when I got this rant out the way, we got that out the way. Let's go ahead and get into the Detroit Lions. Now, before I end up talking shit, because I know we're going to end up getting a lot of Detroit Lions fans coming up in here, that's because they're playing us. What I do during the week, I like to, go explore a little bit. I like to go out and find the opposing team's channel and actually sit back and actually watch a couple of their videos so I can see how we match up against them. Actually, this week I actually found a live stream, and I gotta say that live stream was hilarious. Though the Detroit Lions fans had stumbled upon this video, there goes Moby. I believe that's how you pronounce it. There goes Moby. That dude, big Detroit Lions fan. I believe he does live streams like at least once a week talking about just Detroit Lions stuff. What really got me though, when I just ended up just hopping up in that joint, right? They just magically started talking about the Miami Dolphins, how they was gonna destroy us and all types of stuff. So then they was like, they're watching out for Albert Wilson. They just sit back talking about Albert Wilson the whole time. I was like, hold up, do they not know about Jakeem Grant? Do they not know about Kenny Stills? So then when I sat back and brought up Kenny Stills, they was like, oh, Kenny Stills, he don't run a 4.340. So then I sat back and was like, y'all go ahead. He sat back like, somebody look this up. So Kenny Stills running a 4.38. It was they actually got the official time. It was 3.38. So then they got a little bit of worried. They got a little worried a little bit because like, man, Darius Slay's only gonna be able to go and check one guy. And they was literally pressing on Albert Wilson being the one that Darius Slay's gonna end up checking. Them other 3 corners that the Detroit Lions got, I can't even name off the top of my head, but they about to get smoked. They ought to get smoked. But anyway, there goes Moby. Be sure to check out his channel. Let him know the great one DeVore sent you there. Let's get into the preview part. Offensively, let's not get off of what we was doing last week. Literally, of course, I want to see Brock Osweiler's passing attempts go down. I thought 40 times was a little bit much. I know we ended up being in a shootout, but let's go ahead and let's kick it off with the running game. The Detroit Lions, they are struggling against the run. They are struggling. And let's not give up. Like, I like Frank Gore as the starter. I understand. Frank Gore is a volume runner. He needs carries for him to be able to go on throughout the game. He had 100 yards rushing against the #1 ranked defense in the league. #1 ranked defense in the league. The Detroit Lions, we need to run this ball down their throats. Run it down their throats. And of course, we're gonna put a couple of conservative calls in there with some shallow crosses and some screens. And then the Detroit Lions defenders, the defensive backs, they gonna cheat up. They gonna cheat up. And like I told you, once they cheat up, this is where Kenny Stills gonna make his money. And you know, speaking of receivers, Devontae Parker, I didn't get a chance to touch on this last week when he was playing against the Chicago Bears, but that dude, man, literally, he gives up a lot of interceptions. Like, he be doing some head scratching shit, because dating back to last year, most of Jay Cutler's interceptions, they came off of throwing the ball to Devontae Parker, not knowing the fucking route. So when I ended up looking at him against the Chicago Bears this past week, Brock Osweiler threw a deep pass to him, and it just felt like Devontae Parker didn't end up fighting for the ball or nothing. He just had a joint, and like it was just easy for the Chicago Bears to take it away. But I feel in my heart of hearts that Devontae Parker will be the X factor. I just feel there's like too many weapons for these Detroit Lions defensive backs to sit back and handle. Because if we get Darius Slay to end up taking off Devontae Parker, 6'4" receiver, 4'3", 40. Let him take care of that. Albert Wilson and Kenny Stills and Jakeem Grant can sit back and handle them dead body defensive backs that they got over there. I don't know who they are, but they ain't nothing to write home about. I know that. So let's go ahead and set up this running game with Frank Gore. Set him up with Frank Gore. Get him. I want to see at least 50 yards rushing by Frank Gore by halftime. That's something that we need to have. We need to have that going into halftime. And once we set them up with that, let's go ahead and hit it with some play action, a deep pass to Devontae Parker or Kenny Stills or somebody. One of our burners on the outside. Hit him up with that. And that's how we're going to end up doing it on offense. Now, defensively, I strongly feel Matthew Stafford, as far as this season, he's having a shaky season. He's going up at how many interceptions he throw against the Jets? Like 5 or 6. Honestly, I thought that was a fluke game for the Jets, but 5 or 6. If we end up rattling him, if we can rattle him, I strongly feel he will make them turnovers, and we need those. And also, shout out to the Miami Dolphins fans that sat back and said we need to get rid of TJ McDonald because he got 2 picks on the season. Y'all sit back and say he can't cover. I sat back and told y'all he hasn't even played a whole season yet with the Miami Dolphins last year. Remember, he got suspended the first 8 games. But anyway, getting off topic. I strongly feel if we sit back and put pressure on Matthew Stafford, make them one-dimensional. Because remember, and before I believe his name, Karan Johnson, the running back, before he came in there, they haven't had a 100-yard rusher since Reggie Bush, if I'm not mistaken. So like we can bottle up this running game, make them one-dimensional, and when we end up making them one-dimensional, that's what Matthew Stafford gonna end up making them turnovers. Making them turnovers. Now, another thing is, for the Detroit Lions fans, I know they're high on Matt Patricia as far as them being the head coach. They strongly feel that because since Matt Patricia came from the New England Patriots, that he has the formula to stop Miami. Come on now, Matt Patricia gonna end up like every single coordinator or the assistant coach that end up coming from New England. They're gonna end up right back in New England as an assistant coach. Josh McDaniels, where Romeo Cornell at? I just saw his ass. Where did I see Romeo Cornell at? Was he on Monday night? No, Sunday night. He was on Sunday night. That was on, I think he, damn, somebody let me know where he at. I can't think of that shit off the top of my head. But final score, I'm going to go ahead and say 24-10 Miami at home. We're going 5-2. 5-2. But let me know what you guys think. You know what it is. If you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. This is GreatOne DeVore. I'm up out of here.